Alright, today I'm in Florala, Alabama. I just went walking through the woods and found a number of dumps, but they're all from about 1948 to 63. A little bit too modern. Somebody's obviously been there and picked up all the keepers off the surface and scratched around a bit. So I kind of gave up on that. But on the way back to the car, I saw this sticking out of the ground, mostly on the surface. So I thought, oh, that looks like a corker. It's probably worth $2.50, maybe $3 if I'm lucky. And then I turned it over and saw that. That is one great bottle right there. Finding that on top of the ground is amazing, especially since somebody's been looking very close to this area. That's definitely maybe the second or third best bottle I've ever found on top of the ground. It's worth at least $150. So I'm off to a decent start. Maybe out there. I think there's going to be a dump somewhere in these woods. No, that was high ground. I think down here in the low spot is more likely to produce results. Nope, those two areas didn't work out, but this area looks very interesting, and it's only a block and a half from the center of downtown. And it looks freshly graded, and it kind of looks like a bunch of trash sticking out of the ground like little pieces of glass. Let's go have a look. There is a lot of glass here. Some sodas from the late 40s and early 50s. Looks pretty interesting. A lot of glass. There's just way too much for it to be not a dump. I actually probed it a minute ago, and I crunched in the glass all the way to the 3.5 foot level. But whether I can dig here or not and get away with it is another thing to consider. Since it's such a wide open spot and close to downtown, I don't know, but I don't see any sign of anyone having dug, which is surprising. Here's an interesting specimen. It might be worth $1. Yeah, somebody probably walked it though, because I don't see anything intact that's worth anything. But I'm sure 5 or 6 inches down, there's probably going to be a bunch of stuff. Very interesting. Well, it kind of ends and then has about 100 feet of just plain soil. But then it starts up again. These pieces are actually worth something to artists. Bet you I could sell these. Somebody will buy these for 50 cents a piece. And then down the creek, it turns into a lot of bricks. That's usually a good sign. So, I shall continue to search. And then if there's enough daylight, I might dig a test pit. It's pretty sparse over this way, but I see two interesting things at the same time. This top looks like it's blown in a mold. Or at least very early machine made. Then we got a marble right here. Not a bad one either. And another marble. Yeah, I'm gonna dig a test pit over here, even though it looks like it's getting dark already. Well, undoubtedly, people must have looked here already. Oh, there we go. That looks like it might be a whole soda. Oh no, it's cracked. Interesting town. They got a strip mall or grocery store situation right next to this beautiful lake.
You got your little tool, I hear you.
Alright, thanks a lot. Hi, sir.
Oh, what, your camera working or what? Charging or what?
I like to film any confrontations I have with the police in case I end up in court or something.
Okay, yes. Would you give us permission to look in your vehicle?
No, because I have thousands of dollars worth of antique bottles and it's full of everything I need to live.
Yes,
I've been living in here for 40 days and gathering bottles from North Carolina to
Really?
here.
Okay, how long you can be in Florala?
I haven't decided.
Man.
Maybe one day, probably two at the most, I would think.
Yes, sir. I had your license. I could write you a ticket parking the highway. You're in the highway.
Highway?
Yes, sir.
I mean, this is a back road.
I still can write you a ticket.
Okay.
But, you know, if you're going to be like off looking for balls, the vehicle got to be completely off the highway. See, actually, you see how far it's in the road. I mean, I can write you a ticket, but I'm going to give you a warning. You know, you ain't from here, so I can give you a break. Okay?
Okay.
Fair? All right, man. But you're going to need to move your vehicle. Okay?
All right.
All right, man.
You got your map real quick, and I'll show you one other spot that I could think of.
Okay.
That there used to be some.
Well, more situation with the police in Alabama. So they called this a highway, and he wanted to give me a ticket. There's plenty of room over here for cars to go by, and I bet less than 1 car per hour comes down this dirt country road. There's really only 1 or 2 houses on this road. That looks like the kind of yard you would want to dig and the kind of house you would want to dig. But I'll save it for later. Back to this lot. Haven't really gotten a chance to check this side out because it was raining. So I am actually seeing some older glass on this side for some reason. This looks really old. Probably about 1905 or 6. Yeah, it's probably a dump all through that road, because what did they fill all that in? This creek goes all the way through the road, so they had to add about 4.5 feet. So I'm thinking it's full of 1910 to 1915 bottles. But I'm not going to dig up against the road. But there's a lot of trash over here. Some older pieces for some reason. Did somebody dig into the bank along here? I don't know. It is possible. Because look at that. There it is. Cork top medicine sticking out. Yeah, you don't see that every day. It's probably just a slick Henry Wample or something like that. Yeah, alright. No embossing, and it has that distinctive shape if you're familiar with bottles. don't know if I should even waste room in my vehicle to put this one in there. And there's a number of hollow script shards here and there. Is that something older? No, it's a Coke also. Ready to play a hidden object game? Well, it probably won't be anything because I'm sure people have walked here before since it's such an obvious place. Well, there's a soda, but it's not very old. Well, there it is. If you want to dig a 1940s dump in the city limits, you'll probably get run out by the cops, but I wouldn't suggest trying over here unless you see a spot that has some older stuff. The beautiful downtown of Florala. Well, it used to be beautiful. It's kind of run down looking right now. I would have loved to have seen this place 100 years ago.